Making this list wasn't really easy, especially because I've read most of them and a very long time ago. And given my memory, I forgot most details. So this list is kinda old, and I definitely need to reread all of them again. But for now, this is my top 10 manga. Number 10. Anara Sumanara by Il Kwon Ha. Well, I know this is a Korean manhwa, but I haven't read enough to make own list for it, so I decided to put it here. And I've read 3 stories by this author. This, Free Level Combination and After War School Activities, and neither of them disappointed me. He definitely excels in making characters realistic, good ones or bad ones. Anara Sumanara's story and characters were extremely meaningful and relatable to me. It hit me really deep and made me think a lot after I finished it. It was a unique experience which I absolutely recommend. And it has a very magical art. Number 9. Sekaioni by Okabe Uru. Oh boy, this one. This one is pretty fucked up. There's a lot of sad, tragic shit happening to not only the main character who went batshit crazy, which is not surprising at all, but basically everyone. Imagery and art is very unique, dark, and partly hilarious. There are a lot of sensitive topics also, and the story is kinda depressing. I remember that many people didn't like the ending, but given the fact what happened to main character, it just made perfect sense. Number 8. Well, this spot is occupied by two, because I just can't decide which one is better. It's basically impossible for me. And that is One Piece by Eiichiro Oda and Dragon Ball Z by Toriyama Akira. These two are basically the best battle shonen I've ever read, each being great at what they established. One Piece as an adventure in a big, living, and detailed world, Dragon Ball with amazing and breathtaking fights. These two are extremely enjoyable and have very entertaining, lovable characters. Number 7. Trigon Maximum by Yasuhiro Naito. If you loved anime, you must read this. Not only does it properly finish the story and explains some stuff, it also gives a lot of important backstories, like why Legato hates humanity so much, or the whole thing about Wolfwood. Also, Ganhogan's got more proper action and actual personalities. Generally, Maximum is a bit darker, has some new cool characters, and more amazing fights. Number 6. Death Note by Obata Takeshi and Oba Tsugumi. Do I really need to say much about this? Death Note is classic. I enjoy the intellectual fight between Light and L, and even enjoy the parts with Nier at the end. This one was truly probably one of the best thrilling stories I've ever read, and art is just superb. Number 5. Hellsing by Hirano Kota. This is how vampire stories should be. Lots of amazing action, a bit of horror, some gore, while still having interesting characters and story. It really makes me sad that these beasts were degraded to angsty teens or just hot creepy dudes. In that regard, Alucard is probably one of the best vampires from any kind of medium. He's genuinely scary, but also has tons of unique charisma. This manga also has some very memorable villains like Anderson or Major. Oh, and art. Hirono's art is just pure orgasm. Number 4. Homunculus by Yamamoto Hideo. This is probably one of the most mind-fucking manga I've ever read. For most of the part, It's kinda confusing, kinda disgusting, trust me, kinda crazy, but all of that really pays greatly at the end. It also has probably one of the best complete character dissection I ever witnessed. The art is amazingly and kinda scarily realistic in certain scenes, and I was just left staring at the screen for a long time after finishing it, trying to process it all. Truly exceptional experience. Number 3. Shin Angyo by In Wan Yon and Kyun Il Young. Best thing to say about this one is if you love Berserk, you will probably like this too. And not because both are same, but they kinda have similar feel of depression and unfairness, with the main character pushing through no matter what. Munsu, as a main character despite being a bit douchey, sometimes cruel and ruthless, was real fun to follow on his journey. It starts episodic, but later on there is an amazing story of past and clashing ideologies. Number 2. Ghost in the Shell by Masamune Shirow. This manga is the second manga I've ever read, and, together with Matrix, guess why, Second Terminator, and Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, but known for its movie adaptation as Blade Runner, is the reason why I love sci-fi stories about cyborgs, robots, and philosophy. Motoko Kusanagi was also a very entertaining protagonist, not only because of how badass she is, but also because of her funny, childish side. And now, before spot number 1, some honorable mentions. 666 Satan by Kishimoto Seishin. At the time I was reading this, I actually found it more entertaining than Naruto, especially because of its characters, not to mention inspiration in religion, which I always enjoy in stories. And Siren by Toshiaki Iwashiro, which is mystery story ending up being something way more than just simple survival. I really enjoy it despite it being axed. So, now, number 1. Berserk by Kentaro Miura. Probably not surprising at all, Berserk has my second most favorite revenge arc story. I'm sorry, but the Count of Monte Cristo by Damas slaughters all in this department. You really need to read it. And it has my most favorite protagonist, which really means something because I mostly end up liking villains. In terms of storytelling, characters, art, themes, there's just no other manga which would top this. Not to mention, Berserk was sometimes so depressing that I genuinely needed to make breaks to read something positive because it was just too much. I'm talking about you, ending of Golden Age arc and Lost Children arc. And that's all for now. What is your manga you enjoy the most? And do you have something to recommend which you think deserves a top 10 spot?